Hi guys, welcome to today's podcast. This is Rishi Singh and I'm welcoming Mr. Vinamra from Investways. So Vinamra, how would you introduce yourself?
Basically, just to tell about myself, I was born and brought up in Lucknow. I have always been very much inquisitive about analytical thinking. Apart from that, in a world which is very fast moving and in a world of fast gratification, we are living in a world of reels, instant WhatsApp messages. I find myself who is very much convinced about things which mature slowly and over time. I've always been fascinated about how family businesses grow, how large institutions are built. So I would call myself a mix and match of a modern age person and as well as a old school.
Okay. And what does wealth management mean to you?
See, wealth management is not just about numbers, spreadsheets, and returns for us. Wealth management is more about managing human psychology, managing the emotions of your investors.
Right.
It is very easy to invest in a fund or a stock in a moving market when the markets are moving. It is not very tough to make returns in these times. But when the Sensex falls 1,000 points, it is very important to hold the hand of your investors. They should know whom to contact, what they are doing, where they have invested.
Fantastic. It's really good to know that investors are your first priority.
Yes.
Now I would jump to the interesting question about Investways. So when did it start? What are the things happening?
Sure. So, Investways basically started in 1975. It was started by my grandfather. I'm the third generation today in this business. Mutual funds were not in India at that time. So, we started with the work of basically post office schemes. In post office schemes, I mean to say that PPF, RD, and all these were a part of our product portfolio. As the markets moved on, the industry channelized. We came into mutual funds in, I guess, 1995 when we opened our Hazratganj office at Sahu Cinemas.
Fantastic. So good to know that we have such experienced individuals in our city in Lucknow. Fantastic to know. So Vinamra, what has stayed unchanged since the early days?
When we talk about this, we have completely moved on from managing book ledgers to a completely transformation into AI and tech-based industry. Rather, two or three fundamentals have always remained with us. The most important thing is, I would say, trust and longevity of the clients. When it comes to managing human behavior, we have always been into an industry where trust is the most important thing. Like if we talk about today's world, we have a click app like Grow Zerodha where investors can see what the top performing funds are. But we don't know whether these funds will stay consistent over the time or not. Our approach has always been very much research based. We have an in-house research based team whose work is all the time to manage what the funds are performing, what their statistical ratios are, and what their future performance will be. We have always been an organization which has more been focused towards customer centric rather than into commissions, because finance industry, if we talk about other distributors and other intermediaries as well, they chase their commissions rather than the returns of the investor. So one thing that has always stayed with us is our centricity towards our clients. That is why I guess we have been in the industry for 4 decades now, and also managing, I guess, family portfolios of more than 3 generations.
Okay. So if I may ask, what are the different products and service offerings that Investways provides to its customers?
Investways, see, basically we are into mutual fund services. We are an AMFI registered mutual fund distributor. And apart from mutual funds, we deal in all kinds of insurance, general insurance services. We are a full house wealth manager, I would say. The main aim of ours has always been, rather than selling a specific product, we understand the needs of the clients and make their portfolios accordingly. It could be across mutual funds, it could be across fixed deposits, stocks, bonds, and all other kind of investment products available in the market.
So how do you decide what is actually right for your specific clients?
I would say, Rishi, whenever you go to a doctor analyzes you based on several things. It could be your temperament, it could be the past medications you have taken, any comorbidities that you have. So, I relate to myself as a doctor. We are financial doctors for our clients. So, we have an in house questionnaire of, I guess, 10-15 questions. We always ask the client to fill up that questionnaire, which is basically a mix of your age, your past investments, whatever products you are already invested in, how much time you can invest in the market, and several other things. And based on that, we have our in house model, which decides, I won't say which exactly decides, but we make an asset allocation for our clients accordingly.
Oh, fantastic.
So it has a mix of, I would say that if you want liquidity management as well, if you want long term returns or a medium term, we suggest portfolios accordingly.
So I'm coming to a very small question, though it might sound very silly to an expert like you. But how would you tell it to your customers that what's the difference between a SIP and then holding shares?
Rishi, I won't say that's a silly question. That is a very important question, because in today's generation, people don't actually know this thing, though there is a very big difference. So I'll give a very basic, a very structured explanation of what it is. When we talk about shares in share market, it is basically a bunch of all the approximately 5,000 companies that are listed in India. So आप मान लो कि you have to invest in Reliance, TCS. These are some of the top names
Yeah.
that are listed. So you go to any broker, whichever, wherever you have your demat account. You buy shares of that company. So one more important thing is कि whenever you are buying a shares, you have to buy it in whole numbers.
Right.
It will be 1, 2, 3, whatever amount you are investing in. That is basically partial ownership of a company that you are investing in.
Okay.
But when we come about investing in SIPs or mutual funds, so before jumping directly onto SIP, I will also explain what mutual funds is. So mutual funds is basically a basket of stocks. Randomly, I would say a stock selection of 40, 50 stocks that your fund will be investing in. Now, currently, there are around, I guess, 2 to 3,000 mutual funds also in India across 40 to 50 AMCs. So AMCs are the asset management companies, and every AMC has around a different set, a basket of their mutual funds. Now, which mutual fund you have to invest in depends on your risk appetite, your asset allocation, and your financial needs. And SIP is basically a way of investing in mutual funds.
All right. So it's
SI
more like a tool.
It's more like a tool. SIP, it can be a daily SIP, a monthly SIP, a weekly SIP. So what SIP is now? SIP में होता क्या है कि you decide a pre amount on a pre-specific date. So that amount will be automatically debited from your bank account,
Right.
and that number of units will be purchased on your behalf for the specific fund that you have applied for an SIP for. And the main importance of SIP is the rupee cost averaging, I would say.
Okay.
Whenever you are investing in an SIP, every month or every day, every week, that amount is getting debited, and you are getting units for that amount. Sometimes when the markets are low, you might get higher number of units because the NAV of that fund would be low.
Right.
But on the other hand, when the markets are high, the units, the NAV would be high, so you would get less units. But when we talk about SIPs on a very longer horizon, usually 5-10 years, the returns are tremendous.
Can you quote any case study for that?
Yes, sure. One of the best that comes to my mind is back in, I guess, October or November of 1995, Reliance Mutual Fund came in India with a specific fund named as Reliance Growth Fund. At that time, the fund launched this NFO at an NAV of 10 rupees. Usually, when mutual funds launch an NFO, they are at an NAV of 10 rupees only. So we had several clients who applied for that. And at that time, we didn't have demat accounts or I would say all these transactional apps. Everything was very conventional. We used to go to our client, we used to collect checks, we used to maintain proper ledgers. At that today, you get mutual fund units credited to your PAN or your demat within 2 days. But at that time, the process was very lengthy. Like it used to take around a week for the units to get delivered physically to you. Now, talking about that Reliance Growth Fund, Reliance came with that fund with the NAV of 10 rupees. Several of our investors got into that. And just take a wild guess how much that NAV would be today. Just a wild guess.
Good 100, 150?
No. Today, the NAV of that fund is 1500 rupees.
Okay.
So this is the power of mutual funds. This is the very important case study. One very interesting thing that comes to my mind related to this is, like I told you, we didn't have computers at that time. So we used to maintain proper investment ledgers, NAVs, and everything in our registers. We used to a conventional, a completely tech-based organization in 2003, 2004, when AMFI and SEBI came out with a digitalization of the industry.
Right.
So we also completely switched to that. So there were many of our clients who purchased NFO at that time and had somewhere missed the papers or had just forgotten. So in these years, several market events came. The 1999 Kargil War, and the 2000 dot-com bubble, the 2008 financial crisis. These were events of market downturns when I would say the markets corrected by 40-50% in a year. So whatever wealth was created in the past 3 years, everything just vanished. But what happened, like when we talk about markets, when we see them in the long term, the charts are always up. Because we in India, we are living in an economy which is a growing economy.
Right.
We call ourselves a growing economy. We are a developing economy. And when we talk about us, the markets in the long term are always on the upward side. So if you are investing in the markets, if you are investing in these stocks, in mutual funds and equities, just have an investment horizon of at least 5 years. This is
Okay.
one thing we always tell to our clients कि अगर आप equities में invest कर रहे हो तो minimum 5 साल का horizon लेके जाओ.
गॉट इट. सो यहाँ पे विनम्र एक और क्वेश्चन है मेरा कि कौन कौन सी ऐसी गलतियाँ हैं छोटी बड़ी जैसी भी हो जो जनरली इन्वेस्टर्स कर देते हैं?
Biggest thing is panicking when the market falls. I'll give you a very interesting example related to this. मान लीजिए you start on a road trip from Lucknow to Delhi. ठीक है? Now there can be several blockages in between. There could be a situation, मान लीजिए your
टायर पंचर हो
गया,
राइट.
आपकी गाड़ी में पेट्रोल खत्म हो गया, या फिर कुछ और टेक्निकल कार में दिक्कत आ गई, फिजिकली यू आर नॉट फीलिंग वेल,
राइट.
बट इवेंचुअली यू विल गो टू दिल्ली. आप माइट बी यू विल टेक अ हॉल्ट, बट यू विल गो टू योर डेस्टिनेशन.
वापस नहीं आ जाएंगे.
आप वापस नहीं आ जाओगे until unless it is something very serious.
राइट.
This is how we explain to our clients. If you have started investing, you had a goal in your mind. You started investing because you wanted to invest for a goal. So if there is any geopolitical reason, COVID was such a situation. COVID pandemic was once in a 100-year situation. But somebody who stood invested at that time, their portfolios are, I would say, more than double from that time. So this is the biggest mistake, panicking when the market falls. If you have liquidity, if you have extra money, invest more at that time. Because in the long term, markets are meant to go upwards only.
Right, right. Now, changing the direction of my questions a bit, if we talk about technology, so how has technology helped you guys as service providers, and how has technology helped the investors in understanding and investing in your market?
Rishi, technology has surely been a boon to us. Like taking you back to the earlier times, taking you back to 1980s now. Today, you are also an investor of us.
Yes.
You also have our access to our in-house mobile application.
Right.
You might also see our portfolio daily. But when we talk about 1980s, mutual fund units were declared daily, but not on mobile applications. They were printed in newspapers. Now what we as an organization used to do was, we had ledgers made. We had proper registers made. And every fund NAV used to written daily. We used to write NAVs of every fund daily on that. Such an hectic job. We used to maintain different register ledgers of every client of ours. What we are doing today, we have CRM tools. We have in-house investor management
All
tools.
sort of automations.
All sort of automation in the house. We don't have to do anything. Everything that we do in-house is just marketing and client interaction, and just research is one of our major tasks today. This was basically operational related. When we talk about research based, at that time, statistics has always been very important when it comes to investing in the markets.
Right.
तो पहले होता क्या था कि आपको म्यूचुअल फंड की NAV मिलती थी. We had several kind of other metrics also which we used to track. But we used to do everything on calculator, registers, pen and paper. मतलब personally, I have also not done this. This is also what I listened from my uncles and my grandfathers, like what they used to do. Today, we have Excel, we have spreadsheets, we have dashboards, we have all the tools. We have fund management tools. We can just write down the name of any fund and we can find out all the statistical ratios.
Fantastic. And how have investors benefited from it?
It has been beneficial also, and I would say a ban also for investors
ज़्यादा
technology.
ज्ञान आ गया है.
ज़्यादा ज्ञान नहीं आ गया है, आधा अधूरा ज्ञान आ गया है. वी
Yes.
डोंट, मतलब हम ज़्यादा ज्ञान कुछ नहीं होता है, इट्स ऑलवेज आधा अधूरा ज्ञान. नाउ सी व्हाट टुडे हैपेंस, इन्फ्लुएंसर्स आर मेकिंग रील्स टुडे. नाउ व्हाट दे डू इज कि इंसान को पता है कि मार्केट में आज के टाइम में SWP नाम की कोई चीज़ होती है, बट SWP किसके लिए सूटेबल है और कब करनी चाहिए, दैट इज मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट.
Right.
अब अगर मान लीजिए यू हैव सम स्टमक इन्फेक्शन, मैं आपको उसके लिए पैरासीटामोल नहीं दे दूंगा. क्यों? अब पैरासीटामोल भी बहुत फायदेमंद दवाई है, बट डजेंट मीन इट कैन बी टेकन एनीवेयर. सो अब हम लोग ने SWP की बात करी, तो SWP वॉज बेसिकली मेड फॉर दोज पीपल हु आर गेटिंग रिटायर्ड.
Okay.
जो रिटायर्ड हो रहे हैं, यूजुअली गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉयज, व्हाट दे डू इज कि व्हेन देयर रिटायरमेंट अप्रोचेस और व्हेन दे आर गेटिंग रिटायर्ड, दे गेट अ गुड ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ कॉपस. ठीक है. अब नाउ व्हाट SWP, एंड आफ्टर रिटायरमेंट दे हैव देयर ओन एक्सपेंसेस. तो व्हाट दे डू इज कि यू कैन इन्वेस्ट द SWP अमाउंट completely into a fund. Usually we choose a fund which is not very much aggressive, not very much high on equities. And over a period of time, you on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis, as per your needs, you withdraw a specific amount. And the original investment principal corpus that you have invested also keeps on growing as per the market risks.
Okay.
But what influencers do is कि वो usually लोगों को बताते हैं कि आप 10 लाख रुपए SWP में डाल दो और आप 10% साल का उसमें से निकालते रहो
और बढ़ता रहेगा.
और वो बढ़ता रहेगा. आप 5 साल ये करके देखो, आप फिर मेरे पास आओगे, आप मुझे बताओगे कि भैया मेरा प्रिंसिपल ही गायब हो गया.
Right. Right. So Vinamra, what has the market crashes taught you? Have you been through any of the market crash in your current times?
I have been through the 2008 market crash, the global financial crisis. I have been through the COVID pandemic crisis.
Right.
See, one thing that has always stayed to me कि these are the times when it is very important to stay resilient.
Right.
अब अगर मान लो कि कोई भी मार्केट क्रैश आया है, उसके बाद ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि रिलायंस और TCS पूरी गायब हो जाएगी इंडस्ट्री से. देयर कैन बी सेक्टर शिफ्ट्स, देयर कैन बी सेक्टोरल शिफ्ट्स. मान लीजिए अगले 1-2 साल उसके बाद रिलायंस ना वर्क करे. मान लीजिए अभी भी टुडे वी आर सिटिंग व्हेन द क्रूड इज सो हाई बिकॉज ऑफ जियोपॉलिटिकल रीजंस. The crude has been ranging from $100 to $110, which is a very big number. The comfortable level is somewhere around $60 to $70. But हमें ये पता है कि अगर आज कुछ दिक्कत होगी तो कल वो सॉर्ट आउट हो जाएगी. If you are very much focused, if you are very much strong on the fundamentals that you have invested in, so you should always stay resilient. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि आपने अगर सही रिसर्च करके सही तरह से सही जगह आपने अपना पैसा इन्वेस्ट करा हो तो वो कल को पूरा गायब आज हो जाएगा. देयर कैन बी सिचुएशन, देयर हैव बीन सिचुएशन आई वुड से व्हेन इन द पास्ट देयर हैव बीन मेनी इक्विटी फंड्स व्हिच हैव नॉट आउट परफॉर्म्ड. बट वी ऑलवेज सजेस्ट, वी ऑलवेज से कि at least give an equity fund a timeline of 3 years. Whether we talk about any asset class, any mutual fund, any stock, everything has a cycle.
Right.
You might have seen in the past 2 years that gold and silver have performed tremendously. On the other hand, equities have not performed for the past 2 years. But what happens is कि आप अगर पिछले 10 years का चार्ट खोल के देखो तो you will get a very simple answer of how gold, silver, equities have been performing. So this is why we say कि every asset class has a time.
So Vinamra, आपके अकॉर्डिंग क्या पेशेंस ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है या इन्वेस्टमेंट टाइमिंग ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है?
Rishi, a balance of both the things is important because until and unless you have patience, you cannot make money in the markets. You can do over trading, but it is impossible. Nobody has been 100% accurate in the markets.
एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन की ओर हम लोग जा रहे हैं जो जनरली इन्वेस्टर्स जानना चाहते हैं कि म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसा लगाया जाए, स्टॉक में पैसा लगाया जाए, रियल एस्टेट में पैसा लगाया जाए या गोल्ड में पैसा लगाया जाए. सो व्हाट वुड यू रिकमेंड?
Rishi, the answer to this question is keep a mix of everything in your portfolio.
जूलर होता तो कुछ और कहता.
नहीं, मैं ऐसा नहीं कहूँगा क्योंकि see, I have also personally invested across all asset classes. I won't suggest anyone to invest just into equities, just into mutual funds, just into gold. Why? Because every asset class has a timeline, has a cycle, and हर चीज़ की आपकी लाइफ में एक इम्पोर्टेंस होती है, ठीक है? अब we as Indians have a very soft corner for gold.
Right.
ठीक है, whether we come to our families or whether we personally come to it, we Marwadis as Baniyas have a very soft corner for gold. अगर हम मान लीजिए 10 रुपये कमाते हैं तो उसमें हमेशा हमारी प्रेफरेंस होगी कि हम 5 रुपये का जाके सोना खरीद लें. दिस इज़ हाउ हर फैमिलीज हैव डन इन द पास्ट, दिस इज़ हाउ वी डू. अब अगर मैं रियल एस्टेट की बात करूँ तो रियल एस्टेट इज़ ऑल्सो अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ योर पोर्टफोलियो. बट the biggest issue with real estate is liquidity. अब मान लीजिए आपने आज कोई 2 करोड़ की प्रॉपर्टी खरीद ली, यू कीप इट फॉर 5 years. अगर आपकी लोकेशन बहुत अच्छी है, मान लीजिए हाईवे निकल गया आसपास से, तो कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है आपकी वो 2 करोड़ की प्रॉपर्टी 5-7 करोड़ की हो जाए. बट डू यू थिंक कि इफ़ यू इमीडिएटली नीड मनी टुमारो फॉर सम नीड, विल यू बी एबल टू लिक्विडेट दैट?
That would be a concern.
That is the biggest no. That is not possible. But on the other hand, when it comes to gold, when it comes to equities, in today's time, you can get your money within 2 days in your bank account. SEBI in India has made equities and mutual funds so easy कि मान लो you have invested in mutual funds. Today you place redemption request before 3 p.m. On the third day before 10 a.m. you will get all the money in your bank account.
So fast.
This is how liquid it is. And when we talk about stocks, the SEBI is working on platforms where on the next day only your money will be credited in your bank account.
Fantastic.
Specifically for stocks.
Fantastic.
And if you talk about gold, there is nothing more liquid. But on the other hand, when we talk about returns, so in the long term, equities tend to outperform every other asset class. So if we talk about equities, bonds, gold, mutual funds, and real estate, equities have always outperformed. Gold tend to give you a return of, I guess, 7 to 8% in a horizon of 10 years. FDs in India in the past have been somewhere around 5 to 7%. Real estate depends because commercial and residential real estate, they both perform differently in India.
I believe geographically also.
Yes,
it
geographically it plays.
differs. For instance, Lucknow is a growing
Yes.
city and the SCR region is growing. So yeah.
Very true. And when we talk about real estate, one very big issue in that is management. अब मान लो मैंने आज अपनी एज में कोई रियल एस्टेट की ज़मीन खरीद ली एंड आई प्लान टू कीप इट फॉर द नेक्स्ट 40 years. वी बिकम ओल्ड एंड रियल एस्टेट के साथ सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत ये है कि अगर आपने कोई प्लॉट खरीदा है तो आपको उसको मैनेज करके रखना पड़ेगा. मतलब सिचुएशंस लाइक दिस वेयर प्रॉपर्टी गेट्स कॉन्फिस्टिकेटेड या फिर कब्जा हो जाता
Encroachment
है
and
या
all.
फिर एंक्रोचमेंट हो जाता है.
Right.
दीज ऑल आर वेरी रेयर इशूज. So you have to manage all these things. I have seen in the past, I have several clients where like my grandfather's investor bought a property at that time. After a few years when their children grew, the entire family moved on to US. The entire family has been living in US for the past 30-35 years now. They have several properties in India. None of their children wants to come to India. They all are settled in US only. So who will take care of that properties? On the other hand, whatever money they had invested with us in mutual funds, equities, if they need any money, that gets directly credited into their bank account.
हाँ, so real estate में क्यों लगाना, म्यूचुअल फंड में डाल
Yes.
दो. So विनम्र, आपने इतनी इन्फॉर्मेशन दी about so many things are happening in the market. SEBI is pushing the asset class so much. But then why do you feel still investors are reluctant in investing in mutual funds? So why so?
Rishi, in the past 5 years after COVID, the mutual fund industry has grown by around 10 times. Before COVID, mutual fund industry in India had a SIP book around 7,000-8,000 crores. Today we are more than 20,000 crore SIP book.
Okay. And what is a SIP book?
Yes, I was coming on that only. So basically what SIP book actually means is कि if you are investing in SIP, it could be monthly, daily, weekly or monthly. Okay. So if a fixed SIP book of 20,000 crores in India means कि 20,000 crores is coming every month into the markets.
Oh.
Yes, this is how big the number is. In the past 1 year, I would say FIIs, which is the foreign investors, they have sold tremendously in India. On the other hand, because of these SIP numbers, because of the DII participation only, the markets have been stood very strong. Because if we see about the past 10 years, अगर FII ने जितना पिछले 6-9 महीनों में इंडिया में माल बेचा है, अगर पहले उन्होंने बेचा होता तब तो मार्केट में आपको डेली लोअर सर्किट मिलता. But today only if we talk about from the high of Sensex, we are merely down by 15-20%, which is not a very big number. 15-20% मतलब का correction, we don't call it a crash. Because after COVID, the kind of investors that have came into the market, they have seen rapid returns.
Right.
Markets tend to give you returns in a horizon of 5 to 7 years. बट कोविड के बाद हम लोग ने मार्केट्स में देखा है जब एक एक महीने में लोगों ने स्टॉक्स में पैसे डबल करे हैं. एंड नाउ व्हेन दैट सिचुएशन इज कमिंग, व्हेन मार्केट्स आर जस्ट परफॉर्मिंग वेरी नॉर्मली, पीपल आर पैनिकिंग because all they have seen is market touching a new high daily.
Yes.
We as an organization, we have been in the markets for 35 years now. We know how it performs. So one very important thing that we always tell to our clients is knowing why you are investing and where you are investing. Having proper knowledge of the investment product wherein you are investing is very important. We always focus a lot on teaching up to our clients.
All right. So if we talk about your investors and your clients, so would you enlighten us about how do you judge the appetite, the risk appetite of your investors?
See, risk appetite is mainly judged by your age, by your investment horizon, and from the other asset classes also you have invested in.
Okay.
For example, let's talk about you only. If you have 10 lakh rupees invested in FD and just 2 lakh rupees invested in equities, I would take a very wild guess कि Rishi might not have so much of risk tolerance. There could be two scenarios. Either you don't have a very good risk tolerance or you don't have good knowledge. These are the two situations. I will try to teach you why you should decrease your exposure from fixed deposits and increase it to equities. If you have a long-term investment strategy, if you don't need money for the next 3-5 years, why would you invest into an FD? Why would you invest into an instrument which is just giving you 6-7%? And if we talk about post-tax returns, you will not be able to beat inflation in India.
Right.
So I would just teach you once. And if you are comfortable enough, we will suggest you an allocation accordingly. So allocation for every investor is very different. For me, it is very different. I have 100% invested in equities. You won't see any money in my bank account. It is just, I would say, my next 6 months' expenses. That is all that you should keep.
Okay. So coming to a situation, can two very similar clients have very diverse and very distinct portfolios?
Yes, it can be. Let's talk about two people. Let's talk about person A and person B. Both of them are 30-year aged, but person A is married and person B is about to get married in next 2 years. There will be a situation when he will need money in the next 2 years only for his marriage. Person A is married, he is living a comfortable life. They both are earning equally. Both are earning, we can assume 2 lakh rupees a month. But for person B, we will make a complete different portfolio because we are very defined of the goal. We know in the next 2 years that person will require his money. For person A, it is very sure that he says that he doesn't require his job is doing well. We always keep a contingency fund in all of our clients because sometimes any situation can come which you don't know. There could be another situation like COVID. There could be a pandemic. There could be a geopolitical situation. Might be you get laid off if you are into job. So you should always have a contingency fund of at least 6 to 9 months in your liquid portfolio or into an asset class which is arbitrage or a hybrid kind of thing. Don't keep 100% into equities also because equities are very good for long terms. But when we talk about medium or short term situations, there might be situations when you need money.
And how do we define this medium and short term and long term?
See, it depends. Again, it depends from person to person. For me, long term is always 10 plus years.
Okay.
I know that I don't have any major expense coming in the next 10 years. If I have it, my family has already planned it for me. And for medium term, it could be 3 to 5 years. And short term is usually 1 year or less than 1 year.
Do we have something for people who are planning short term?
Yes. liquid mutual funds, arbitrage mutual funds. There is also a new category which is called income and arbitrage.
Okay.
Yes, hybrids also can be, but there is a little bit of risk in that, because when we talk about hybrid, see, whenever you are chasing returns, there's always a risk factor involved.
Yes. Yeah.
You cannot get returns without risk. When we talk about small caps tend to give you the highest amount of return. But if we talk about a very normal small cap mutual fund also, if you have a portfolio of 70 stocks, only I would say 50 or 40 stocks out of that will give you returns. There could be a very strong conviction that the other 15-20 stocks don't give you returns, or the company might also vanish.
All right, Vinamra. Coming to a very interesting part. अभी हम लोग ना rapid fire questions पूछेंगे. I'll
Done.
fire certain questions at you. Try to answer as honestly as possible. One habit every investor should build.
Not panicking.
One mistake investors should avoid.
Tracking the markets daily.
SIP or lump sum.
SIP.
Gold, real estate, FD or mutual funds. Which is most misunderstood?
Mutual funds.
One mutual fund myth you would want to break.
Not all mutual funds are equity mutual funds.
Can you elaborate this one a
Yes,
bit?
sure. So basically what happens is, when you are investing into mutual funds, there are three major categories: equity, debt, hybrid. I'm not talking too much about categories, but these are the three major ones. When we talk about core equities means all the money that you are investing will be directly invested into stocks of companies,
Okay.
which involves a high level of risk, because you are investing into a company, you are a partial owner of that, you are investing into an equity asset class. On the other hand, when we come to debt is basically fixed instruments like FDs, bonds, papers, Government of India bonds, TREPs, and all these things.
Right.
They comparatively have a lower level of risk and a lower return as well. On the third number is hybrid. Hybrid, it is a blend of gold, silver, equity, debts, which is a balance of all the four asset classes.
All right.
Now, what people think is that if you are investing into a mutual fund, you are just investing into an equity mutual fund. This is not the way. Your mutual fund, wherever you are investing in, it will completely depend on your risk appetite, on your asset allocation, on all the factors that we talked about.
One quality every wealth manager needs.
Patience.
One question clients must ask their advisors.
Why should we trust you?
One word for Investways.
Legacy.
Thank you, Vinamra, for the rapid fire round. Now, this brings us to the end of the session. Do you have anything to say to your investors?
Yes, sure. See, market cycles will come and go, but you should always stay focused on your investment journey. A discount broker or a normal distributor will give you chatbots, will show you funds, will show you returns. But we have a legacy. We show you a 35 years of experience. We have worked with generations. We are a generation. So let's work together and build a legacy together. Happy investing.